What's up YouTube? If you guys are like me and you own a 2022 WRX and it's either the bass or the premium with the bass speakers non-HK, you guys know how bad the speaker system is. And I've already taken the time, I've replaced the front door speakers and I've replaced the rear door speakers. However, you got the little speakers up in the dash that still need to be replaced. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these in today's video. These are 3.5-inch Infinity two-way speakers. So where the stock speaker only has a tweeter, this has a mid-range plus a tweeter, and the stock speakers up front on the dash, to me, they sound really bright. They're like very untuned compared to the rest of the system. I have to turn the treble pretty much all the way down to 0, and it's still overly harsh. So for me, I'm hoping that this is gonna finally fix the crappy sound of the stock speakers. So if you guys like this type of content, hit the thumbs up and leave me a comment, subscribe. Let's get into today's video. So I've already got the driver's side cover removed, and I'm just used a little panel popper. And then to remove the cover, guys, want to use just a small little flathead, kind of like this. It's really small and it's really smooth, so it's not going to scratch anything. And I went ahead and removed these with a panel popper before, and I ended up scratching them. So this is small enough to where you can easily pry it in here and get the cover to come up and off. And then I've got a 3/8-inch wrench with a 7mm socket with the Phillips put into it. That way I could take the set screws out. You guys can see these little tiny screws here, but you can reach the front one and get it loose with the wrench on there. But for the back one, they're pretty easy to twist out. I just basically took this out and I can easily reach it and twist it out by hand. There's a little plastic connector you got to depress to get that to pop out of there. So I thought this might be kind of fun to test now that I have the front tweeters out on both sides there. I got my stereo on, and you guys can see I usually have the bass down a little bit, and I've got my treble down to -5. I'm kind of curious how it sounds with no fronts at all, just running the Rockford Fosgate 6x9s. How they sound, so let's give that a test. So having those tweeters out of the dash and actually turning the treble up on the rest of the system, it actually sounds balanced. So I'm very curious to how it's gonna sound once I get the new speakers up here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're back in the garage, guys, and before we install the new speakers, I wanted to just kind of give you guys a quick peek. So these are the ones that we removed out of the car. So you can see that's looks like a 1-inch, either like a terylene or polypropylene silk dome tweeter, whatever it is. But it's a soft material, really actually good speaker. If it was tuned properly, it just has, it's like the treble's turned up plus 10 decibels on this thing, and it's just for like a quick hack. If you guys have installed the front and rear speakers and you're listening to your system thinking, God, those speakers in the dash sound like shit, if you want a quick hack, just unplug what's there if you don't feel like installing new ones. But if you want to install new ones, we're going to get that done. However, I am going to finish the video in a couple of days, because if you look at this, I'm just going to order a wiring harness to make this easier on myself. So rather than cutting the factory harness off and doing a bunch of different hokey wiring, I'm just going to order myself a wiring harness, like 15 bucks. It's going to make the job a hell of a lot easier, and I can literally just plug the harness into the stock plug that came off the car, and then just plug a couple of terminal tab speaker connectors on here, and we're done. Let's put the set screws back in, put the covers on, we'll fire it up. So for me, it's gonna be 3 days, but I'll see you guys right now. These are the Infinity Reference 3032 CFX. So the biggest advantage, guys, that you're gonna have here is with the factory speakers, you only have a 1-inch tweeter. This has a tweeter up top, plus it has a mid-range, so it's a two-way speaker. So you're gonna have that extra depth of range coming from this, versus this is all high frequency. This is gonna give you some mid-frequency, probably around like, I don't know, 100 hertz, 120 hertz, something like that. Or these are, I don't know what tweeters are, they're like 10,000 kilohertz and like way the hell up there. So this is gonna fill in the big difference. I got a surprise coming to the channel here probably next week, guys. I'll get these probably unboxed and get the video edited and everything, but I got myself some quick jacks, so no more jack stands. I'll be able to have these 24-inch lift stands versus this type of crap. And it's gonna make everything so much easier for how much time I like to spend out here on the garage. There's nothing more miserable than jacks and jack stands and not having enough space, and this is gonna feel safe and be a lot quicker and a lot more time efficient. We also have the AWE exhaust, which will be coming for the WRX at the end of the month. I will be part of one of the content creators that will be creating content for AWE on the launch date of the product. So probably the next 2-3 weeks that video will be out. You guys stay tuned for that and subscribe. How lucky am I that my channel was chosen by AWE Tuning to help launch and promote their product. Thank you very much. I'm super excited to do that video and do the install, and that's why I'm gonna be also excited to have the quick jacks. I'm gonna knock the exhaust install out. I still have the STI shifter for the WRX sitting there in that box, so I'm gonna do that install as well. And I'm still also waiting for the blow-off valve, the Turbo Smart one for the WRX. Been on back order since November, so I'm waiting for that. Lots of content to come, guys. Okay guys, we've got our harness. There's a quick look at it. So you've got your negative and positive, one big, one small connector. It's gonna go to the back of the speaker. And what I went ahead and did here, see if you guys can see through the reflection, there's a little, like, this speaker wire is attached to like a little clip underneath the dash. So I just undid that. That's gonna give me more slack. And then we can easily take our connector. That easily clicks into position, just like the factory one. So then we're just gonna connect it. Reattach the wire harness underneath here. Tuck the wire in, put the screws in. These come with capacitors in the box as well, so if you guys want to solder those on there, it will, I believe, decrease the sensitivity by 3 dB. You'd have to read in the manual. But we're gonna go ahead and put some foam underneath the basket here to keep the vibration down. So now we can reattach our screws here. Everything lines up perfectly, guys. We're going to tighten this down all the way, and then I'm gonna fire up one stock and one aftermarket speaker so we can compare. So with the set screws in, everything is nice, flush, and flat. Today's sponsored item is going to be the Sparco sweatshirt and Sparco hat. I will have a link in the description to the Sparco clothing page down below if you guys want to help support the channel. Click and order some, and let's get back to today's video. Okay guys, we got the stock versus the aftermarket. Aftermarket is over on the side here, the Infinity.
For something terrible, 'cause it's gonna come down.
So guys, I'm freaking excited. The clarity from that, plus that adds a little mid bass. As you guys can see, the driver was actually, you know, putting out a little bit of bass. It sounds balanced, it sounds great. I'm gonna throw this other one in, we'll crank up the system, and I'm super excited for like 300 bucks to do your whole stereo. I think it's a pretty nice setup versus if you didn't spend the money to get the HK system. I even blocked the speaker trying to get a little bit better sound for you guys. So see the little gouging in the plastic. Be careful when you guys remove these, and to reinstall, literally just set them right back in. Push the back in first, and then fronts will go right down. All right guys, I've got the driver's side in. I just need to tighten the screws down, and then this install is done. Not the easiest thing to get to. It's pretty tight over here in this corner of the dash, but These are all snugged down and ready to go. We go ahead and put our dash cover back on, and I measured the tolerances and everything on the other side. So when you're putting this in, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to have any clearance issues. And you can see that there's plenty of space in there between the speaker and the cover to where the speaker's not going to be touching. Let's throw the keys in and fire this bad boy up. See how this sounds. And the speakers and harnesses, guys, from Amazon were, I think they're like $100 including tax. I'll throw them up on the screen for you guys so you can see. Those are super clear, guys, just like when you upgraded the paper door speakers and you went to the aftermarket ones. I don't know if you guys have followed those other two videos. I'll have links in the upper right hand corner of the screen as well as the description for the front and rear speakers. But this sounds like it's like going from like black and white to color. It's that big of a difference in clarity. Wow, that sounds so freaking good. Holy crap. So guys, I thought by replacing the front and rear speakers that maybe I would have to eventually replace the deck and to do like a 4-channel amp, or maybe do an inline amplifier like the Alpine one that puts out like 50 watts per channel and ties through the deck. But honestly, with the stock stereo system, the amplifier, the amount of power that's built into the head unit, I think this system has more than enough power to me to where I don't feel like I need to install a subwoofer. I don't feel like I need to do a 4-channel amp or an aftermarket stereo. I like the way that it all works off the speaker like system, stereo system, with the controls over on the steering wheel. If I replace the deck, that stuff may not work depending on what type of trigger relays and trigger kits or whatever I could get. But this sounds awesome, guys. We're gonna finish off the video.
Too fast, too furious. I'm too fast for y'all, man.
And then for my audio settings, virtual bass low, dynamic beat enhancer low, sound restore off, and then my EQ flat with the treble -2. I think that sounds the best for the setup that I have.
Down to the flow, and I wanna
Those front speakers are so clear and they output so much extra sound that I only turn up the stereo to like 30, and I don't feel like I need to turn it up anymore because I feel like there's people singing right in the dash there. It's freaking awesome. I think they're well worth the money. I'm super happy. I'm very pumped with the way that this sounds. Let's head into the garage. I think that'll be the end of today's video. Well guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you liked the content with the WRX. I'm gonna have a ton more stuff coming up with the GTR, as well as, like I said, I got Quick Jack's exhaust system. I got a bunch more stuff coming for the WRX. So you guys stay tuned, like, share, comment, subscribe to stay up to date. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.